The rain was falling heavily. Ethan stood outside a small coffee shop after failing another job interview. His clothes were wet and his old shoes were covered with mud. He slowly walked down the crowded street feeling tired and hopeless. Ethan had a dream since he was a little boy. He wanted to become a successful photographer one day. He loved taking pictures of sunsets, smiling faces, and quiet moments. Photography made him feel alive and happy, but life was not easy for Ethan and his family. They were poor and could barely pay their bills every month. Cameras were expensive, so Ethan worked many small jobs after school. He cleaned tables, delivered newspapers, and carried heavy boxes. After saving money for 2 long years, Ethan finally bought an old second-hand camera. It was scratched and old, but to him it was perfect. Every single day, Ethan practiced taking photos everywhere he went. He woke up early to photograph the sunrise before school. At night, he walked through busy streets taking pictures of people and lights. He wanted to improve more and more every day, but the beginning was very difficult for him. Many photos were blurry, dark, or poorly focused. Some people laughed at his work and criticized him. One friend even said, "You will never become a real photographer." Those words hurt Ethan deeply inside his heart. Slowly, he started doubting himself and his dream. One cold night, Ethan sat alone inside his tiny apartment. He looked at his camera and whispered softly, "Maybe I should give up." At that moment, his grandfather called him on the phone. Ethan explained everything and told him how hopeless he felt. His grandfather listened quietly and then asked, "Do you know how many times I failed before opening my bakery?" Ethan replied softly, "No, Grandpa." His grandfather smiled and said, "Too many times to count. But every failure taught me something important." Then he said words Ethan would never forget. "The only people who truly fail are the ones who stop trying." That sentence stayed inside Ethan's mind all night long. The next morning, he picked up his camera once again. From that day forward, Ethan worked even harder than before. He watched free photography lessons online every night. He studied lighting, camera angles, and editing techniques carefully. Sometimes he failed, but he never stopped learning. Months passed and Ethan slowly became better and better. His photos started looking more emotional and professional. 1 year later, Ethan joined a large city photography competition. Hundreds of talented photographers participated in the event. When Ethan saw their amazing work, he felt nervous immediately. Fear returned to his heart once again. For a moment, he thought about quitting the competition. But then he remembered his grandfather's words, so Ethan took a deep breath and submitted his favorite photograph. It was a simple picture of an old man smiling in the rain. Several days later, Ethan received an email from the competition judges. His hands were shaking as he opened the message. The email said, "Congratulations. Your photograph has won first place." Ethan could not believe his eyes for several seconds. Tears slowly filled his eyes as he smiled happily. He was not crying because he won the competition. He was crying because he almost gave up on his dream. A few months later, Ethan's photographs were displayed in a real art gallery. Many people admired his beautiful work. Some visitors even asked him how he became successful. Ethan always smiled before giving the same answer. "I failed many times," he said. "I simply never stopped trying." Years later, Ethan became one of the most respected photographers in the city. His story inspired many young people around the world. Inside his photography studio, there was one simple sentence hanging on the wall. It said, "Never give up." Because Ethan learned an important truth about life. Success belongs to people who continue moving forward after every failure. No matter how difficult life becomes, never stop believing in yourself. Your story is still being written.